Hey guys, Rafferty Pendery here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the importance of customer experience in business success. You've heard people say many times, the customer is the most important thing. The customer is king. Customer's always right. Well, I don't know about that last one. I would just say I have found the customer's not always right, but that doesn't mean they're always wrong. But the key is that if we can provide a consistent, great customer experience, it will contribute to our business. One of the first things that I had to address in fixing a customer experience or having a great customer experience is it's easy when you're an executive or an owner in a business to get distracted in the small stuff. See, that doesn't mean that small things are unimportant, but it means that many times we can have something underlying a problem, right? We have an actual problem that's going on that creates indicators. It creates the things that you see that go, wow, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. It manifests itself in a way that you see, oh, I have this problem. I have this problem. I have this problem. It's very easy to get stuck in putting out a fire, in trying to solve that specific problem for that specific customer and never step back and ask the question, why am I having to solve this problem in the first place? Why do we even have this problem? And see, I had to dig into this with training staff a lot. The challenge is I don't know what they don't know. And it was very easy for me to go chase down one problem and solve it and chase down one problem and solve it. And then I did that so long that I thought it was normal that I had to be chasing down problems and solving them all the time. And the reality is, yeah, as we grew to different levels and as we have grown to different levels, we found new things that were like, wow, okay, that's a new thing I got to sort out or figure out. But the reality is it shouldn't be problem on a very small level that I'm having to be the only one to solve. Because if I have staff responsible for running an area, they should actually have been looking at that and catching that. And yes, I should also be looking. I should be catching the things they're not even catching. I need to be engaged. And a good friend of mine said to me one day, it was a hard lesson for me to learn. And it's something that I've constantly worked on is, Rafi, you're majoring in the minors. Thank you, David, for that one. You're majoring in the minors. What I had to do was focus on majoring in the majors. I needed to look at the reason why that problem was happening, the reason why people were struggling with that type of customer or that type of service or whatever it was, and dig into what was underneath that. And it is incredible what happens because rather than chasing down every fire, everything that's going on, you figure out the root cause. You can sort that out. I'm going to give you an example. There's a company I was working with, amazing staff, incredible team, and they were having some issues. They were having some issues with profitability. They were having some issues with growth. And when I dug in, so we started to see, here was this problem, and here was that problem, and here was this problem. What we did is we started to dig. And we started to uncover and uncover and uncover. And I asked questions and show me and show me and show me and show me. And one of the biggest problems I found was they had two executives with the same title. That doesn't work because neither guy was fully responsible and neither even combined together, they didn't do the full job. It didn't work. It doesn't work. Plus, you're paying a lot of money to get not even a full hat being worn. And so that's when I say, like, they had this challenge and that challenge and this challenge and that challenge. But when we really dug into it, they had, we're trying to retain people better and we're trying to bring on more people on the team and they're not organized and not following our process. Well, when we sorted that out, we split those guys up and we said, your hat is this and your hat is this. All of a sudden, the organization started doing better. It's just one example of then when they started doing that, one guy was responsible. One guy was looking at everything. One guy was making the decisions on what needed to be done within the guidelines of the company. And what happened was our customer experience got better. So see, by digging into what was underlying that, what was going on beneath that, we were able to actually cause a very large growth. We're talking about 10x in a few years type growth. And yeah, sure, there were some other things that we actually uncovered like that, but the focus was majoring in the majors, not majoring in the minors, because we can always go and track down and put out that one fire and never figure out that some dude is out there lighting these fires intentionally or unintentionally. We have no idea. But there is somebody lighting that fire. There's some reason why that fire is happening. And so when we actually address the underlying root cause, it's a total game changer. And so when you actually spot that, when you look at that and you sort out the underlying problem, that becomes your one truth. That becomes your one way that you do this. And then you know, for example, that company will never, ever, ever, ever again put two people on one job. Never again are they going to do that, because they saw that became hiring policy. That became how the executive team thinks. That became their one truth. They assign one person to one job with one job description that explains what that person is responsible for, and that person is fully responsible for it. And that goes back to that concept of one truth. So then following that, when we got that worked out, we wrote it down. And by writing it down, it became something that our staff could refer to. And the interesting part, a lot of people think about it, like taking time to write something down takes work. And a lot of people don't like doing it. But when you do and you provide your staff a place they can go to get answers to their questions, all of a sudden they become more self-sufficient. They don't have to come to you nearly as much. Your customers can also refer to things that you write down. A lot of people don't think about that. When you get questions about your services, put them on a page on your website. Put them in a PDF document that you give to your sales team that has objection handlings or answers questions on your services. All that information, when you provide it, it takes a lot of work. When you do it right, it becomes something where they become self-sufficient. You become more professional, and your customer experience goes to the next level. Thank you guys so much for watching this. I'll see you guys in the next one.